Christian Fulton, LSU.
Big loss in that Tennessee defense. Amani Hooker, their safety's out. He would be watching Kelsey a bit tonight. And they're watching Kelsey work his way through across midfield to Titans territory. Kadarius Toney in, 2nd and 15. And Mahomes looking that way. It's covered to escape and take off. Mahomes on the run. First down, Patrick Mahomes using his legs to take it inside the 25-yard line. But there is a little bit of a lab story to the Chiefs and what they do on offense that we'll unpack for you here as we go through. On first down, Mahomes, Kelsey's wide open. His lab partner head over heels for a gain of 23 to the 44. Roger McCreary, the tackle. This is 3rd and 7. Titans bring the heat. Mahomes downfield for Watson. Oh, what a play! He brought it in right around the 20-yard line. Justin Watson has made a couple of big plays in this opening quarter. 33 on that one. Down to Hardman. In space. Good cut inside. Into the end zone. McCole Hardman. Touchdown, Kansas City.
Benefited from Tyreek Hill not being here. How many times have we heard comparisons with McCole Hardman to Tyreek Hill?
Kelsey, one of his research missions. Mahomes looks that way. It's all covered. He shovels it ahead to Kelsey. Flag is down as Kelsey gains a dozen out to the 37-yard line. Mahomes is covered on this side. That pass, and now he's got to keep it alive and fire to Edwards Hilaire, who's got it at the 44-yard line. And that is the unscripted ad-lib magistry. Again, the reserves, the depth of Tennessee. This is 3rd and 17. Mahomes is chased. Looking for somebody deep downfield. He's got to take off himself. Can he get there? Oh, he did! Mahomes to midfield for the first down. Nothing was open, and he made it happen for 20. 3rd and 9. Mahomes gets out. Mahomes on the run. At the 10, at the 5, to the goal line, in for the touchdown. The man with the golden arm did it with his legs. And now a 2-point attempt to tie the game.
Rashad Weaver is going to come here. They're going to do that same 3 rush here, flush him that way, but you cannot leave him gaps in there. Just let Wiley block it. You be the catcher over there. You be the backstop. You cannot give him that kind of a gap for him to run.
Chiefs will go for 2.
You get Kelsey down there, anything can happen.
And from the 1, Mahomes on the run. Will he run for it? He'll go to the pylon and tie the game at 17. Willis in trouble, sacked by Carlos Dunlap. Fourth and inches from their own 45. And he'll give it inside. Edwards Hilaire fights for that extra half yard and gets a huge first down. Timeout Chiefs, 57.
Watch some tricks coming out of this one.
They'll throw it underneath. It'll begin with Hardman who gets to the 40. Hardman at the 30. Still going, looking for space to throw it back or to find a room to get tackled because it's a tie game and you can't take too many chances. Noah Gray's the tight end. It's Mahomes on the edge. Nobody open at the moment. He stops. He flips it downfield. Gray caught it. There is a flag down, but Gray comes back and makes a Kelsey-like catch. Let's check the flag. Fake it to Henry. Willis got nothing. In a whole mess of trouble. Can he escape? No, he goes down. Back at the 14-yard line. Saunders got there.
What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Chase, aka CR Media, and this is another edition of the Arrowhead Asylum. Looks a little bit different, guys. Tonight, James is feeling a little under the weather. As you can see, as you can hear, I'm a little under the weather as well. But I lost my voice. Have like a small case of laryngitis. Um, Went to a couple of um, uh, wrestling events this weekend that we sponsor on the I-70 hot tag, and lost my voice screaming and yelling at them. So, but James is for real sick. He said he did maintenance and was went into a house where they said they had COVID. So, was super awesome for him. Um, Ty,
What's
appreciate you
up, man?
joining us tonight.
Yeah, no problem, man. I know we've been trying to work this out since it seems like probably August to finally be on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as Hunter said, TN honey, TN honey. Yes, absolutely. um what so you know, did something a little bit different in the intro. James usually provides the intro video. He hasn't uploaded it to our restream, so he kind of presents it as a second screen and then plays it. So this week I played highlights of the game because it was like 4 minutes and 57 seconds. So I was like, that's good enough for a 5 minute countdown. So what a game, man. Kind of, the
Yeah,
Chiefs rally to beat the
what
Titans
a
in
win.
overtime. So let's talk about it, brother.
Yep. Let's get right into
Yeah,
it.
the Chiefs win 20-17. You know, kind of a hard hitting smash mouth game. Looked a little,
Very
yeah,
physical.
looked a little grim. Hate using that word.
Yep.
I know it's a real popular word in Kansas City, but you know, the game looked a little grim for Kansas City for a minute, but man, they did a phenomenal job in the third quarter of coming back and picking up the victory against the Titans. Against the Titans team that I didn't think was going to give us that much trouble. But
Yep.
you know, uh, and I don't think that they really gave us a lot of trouble then, as much as I think that their offense didn't give us as much trouble as what it looked like.
Yeah.
When
No
Derrick
doubt.
Henry broke off for that big run, I was like, oh man,
Yeah,
yeah,
here
this
we
game's gonna
go.
get nasty. But then the Chiefs did a good job of shutting down Henry, but it was their defense.
Yep.
Their defense
It was the
their defense
defense.
did some damage. So on my lineup here, I have to discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly, and break down the
Yep.
three aspects of the game. The good, I would say our defense. Our defense,
Yep. No doubt.
did some great things there. They were able to get to the quarterback. They were able to, like I said, it looked a little bleak in the first half with Derrick Henry, but they were
Yep.
able to shut them down, um, and carry that momentum into the second half, and they just kept going. You know,
Yep.
and,
Relentless.
and that's what's crazy is that the defense came out and showed up and stayed consistent when we needed them to. They didn't give up. They thought, okay, we still got Patrick Mahomes on this team. We've still got this offense. We need to continue shutting them out.
To
This
get
game is
stops.
still
Yep.
close, and we can give Pat an opportunity to get going. And like we saw, Pat got going in the end of the third quarter and carried it into the fourth quarter. So, talk to me about what you liked, what you didn't like, and your thoughts on the game overall, Ty.
Yeah. So I definitely agree with you. I liked the way that defense played because in the first half it was looking awful grim. Derrick Henry was really getting it going. really start. I think he had 100, almost 100 yards in that first half. It might have been like 80 something. But then the second half, the Chiefs shut him down, 27 yards, and the defense was relentless. They just kept getting stop after stop after stop, even though somewhat shockingly, our offense could not do much with those stops. They could not capitalize for whatever reason. They could not get points. They would have some long sustained drives, but then penalties would end up killing them on those drives. Or, you got Harrison Bucker missing a kick, or they just couldn't get the ball into the end zone. But the defense, they showed up. I mean, that was probably the best performance I've seen from the defense all year. When you got a game wrecker like Derrick Henry, his style normally wears on a defense to where in the second half, that defense is tired. They're getting gassed. But that didn't happen in this game. The defense actually, it was like quite the opposite because he was running loose in the first half, but the second half, they really keyed in on that. I think Spags made the proper adjustments. I think he deserves a lot of credit. I know people around Chiefs Kingdom like to throw Spags under the bus a lot, but I think in this game, he deserves a lot of credit for making the adjustments at halftime. Malik Willis in that first half was killing the Chiefs with the read option. So what does Spags do? He made the adjustment to put a spy on him because you knew that Malik Willis wasn't going to be able to throw the. That wasn't going to happen. He had 4 completions in the whole game. And I still worry. I still think, and I'll say this: if they had AJ Brown and Ryan Tannehill, if Ryan Tannehill was playing, they still had AJ Brown. I could see where that game might have get a little bit out of hand because on those key third downs, and last year it was AJ Brown that killed the Chiefs. It was not Derrick Henry. So it's definitely. I'm worried about that a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And the ugly was for sure the running game. The Chiefs could not get nothing going on the ground. It was a very slow start for the running game. Not ideal. Not at all. 10 carries, 14 yards. Patrick Mahomes had to throw the ball 68 times, and he led the team in rushing. So that's unfortunate.
Yeah, man, you kind of I would 1,000% agree with you. My ugly was going to be that running game as well. Isaiah
Yep.
Pacheco, didn't see any of him. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, didn't see any of him. I was just on or I was watching another Chiefs stream while I was working, and they had mentioned uh, Clyde and all the running backs were going to be gone in the offseason. And I was like, wow, like, but I mean, after that performance,
After
I
that,
mean, like
yep.
it's I think it's a little bit of an over exaggeration, but it's hard to argue with that. Now, I was working on the graphic to promote the show today, and one of the players that kind of stood out to me on the defense that I really really enjoyed watching was Colin Saunders. Colin
Yep.
Saunders, man. I mean, he was,
I had that in my
yeah,
notes too for tonight to
and,
bring him
and
up at some point.
it's crazy, man. Because I mean, he got in there and he ate pretty well. He had a sack, and he was putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And I think it's a testament. I know on paper that defensive line doesn't look appealing. You've got Frank
Right.
Clark, you've got Chris Jones, who both have not done a whole lot this season. Colin Saunders, they brought in Carlos Dunlop, uh,
Derek Nottie has been a
Derek
non-factor.
Nott, yeah, all of that. But I think that the way they played can can easily be can easily piggyback off of Colin's play as well. That Colin was able to
Yep.
eat. Colin was able to get to who he needed to get to because of what was being done by Frank Clark, Chris Jones, Derek Nottie,
Chris Jones.
and those guys. And like I said, I was really impressed with the defense. I thought the defense played very well, especially given the fact that you're playing against Derrick Henry, and Derrick Henry does this thing, man, where he has up and down games
Yep.
against the Chiefs. One game he'll have 115 yards. The next game he'll have 65, or 48 or something. So I mean, it was just one of those things. And like I said, not to beat a dead horse here, but when I saw Derrick Henry break off that run, I was like, All right, here it is.
Yep,
Yep.
here we go.
So,
Exactly.
and I will piggyback off of what you said too. I do feel like Spag gets a lot of hate in Kansas City. I think some of that is kind of self inflicted. Maybe not
Most
necessarily,
definitely.
but I do love Spags and his um, I love Spags and his ability to dial up those blitzes. So,
Yep.
um,
And mix them up
absolutely,
the way he does.
absolutely. We got kneecap biting with smoking Jeremy B in
Yep.
here. He says, "What's up, Chase? Appreciate you joining, Jeremy. Appreciate everybody joining." So we're live right now on twitch.tv/CR Media 1988. So if you guys haven't already, subscribe on the Twitch. Doing a lot of great things on Twitch. Content's been a little slow lately, but we're picking it up. But also, if you guys have not heard me talk about it enough, Sports Empire Network, um, up and coming, rising up there. We've got all kinds of great things going on at Sports Empire Network. My good friend Ty here, Ty writes articles for the Kansas City Chiefs that are being posted on Sports Empire Network. So, like I said, doing for all your sports needs, make sure you're tuning into Sports Empire Network. We've got a TV deal.
Yep.
I wanted to talk about it a couple weeks ago, and then I was like, man, I didn't.
I think I was
Yeah,
watching that video with,
where I was like,
yeah.
I don't know if we're supposed to talk about this yet or not. So, but I think now that
Yeah.
now that it has been announced, I think we can talk about it. We are on. We got a TV deal worked up at Sports Empire, so a lot of great things going on at Sports Empire Network. Just look up Sports Empire Network. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Ty runs the TikTok. So, so definitely a lot of great content there. Um, Myself, like I said, I talked about the Twitch, but you can also find me at Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok. What I want you to do, Ty, is I want you to plug your social media,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah, so you can find me, like he said, at Sports Empire Network. I write articles. I come on shows every now and then. I do a lot for the social media as well, trying to help them out with whatever I can, when I can. But you can find me over at the Sports Talk with T on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok as well.
Absolutely.
And also, I do a post game show with my good friends at Arrowhead Chief Podcast, my good friends Chris and Clarence. So I go on there normally after the game. Sometimes it'll be a day after the game. Like we had that late game
Yep.
Sunday, so we decided we'll do it Monday.
Yeah, I saw that, man. That was pretty cool. Hey, while I've got kneecap biting with smoking Jeremy B in here, I wanted to ask Jeremy. Jeremy did a stat or said a stat about Malik Willis when Malik Willis was in college. He did it a couple weeks ago
Hmm.
on the Sunday morning drive with us, and it resonated with me. And I brought it up I brought it up on our last week's episode. And I want Jeremy, if you're still in here, man, if you can put that stat in the comment box, I would greatly appreciate it. And I still got the show starting soon ticker down at the bottom. Anyways, he mentioned that when Malik was in college, he only played ranked teams 3 times, and against those ranked teams, he had like 5 interceptions or something like that. Like I said, I'm gonna butcher
You
it if
know,
I try to
yeah,
go off of memory. But if you're still listening, Jeremy, I want you to put that in there for me if you don't mind. So
46. Oh,
yep.
there it is.
Malik Willis had a 46.2 QBR rating against ranked opponents in college. And I thought that was
Wow.
telling. And
Yep.
we saw that. There was a point in the game, Ty, where I was confident that
Me too.
that if Tennessee got the ball back, like when we went forward on fourth down, if
Me too.
if
I
you
was
give
like,
it
kick it,
if you
kick that
give it
field goal.
to yeah, if you give it to Tennessee, like you might as well go for it, because if you give it to Tennessee, they're gonna He's gonna screw it up because they were
Yep.
relying on Malik Willis to win the
Make
game
throw.
there
Yep.
in the fourth quarter. So
Make clutch throws.
absolutely. Um, start my friends over at Starcade Media. More likely that's Noah Groniger. Noah says better than my QBR. That is
Well,
true, but
that is true.
you're not starting for an NFL team. So
Yeah.
um,
You wasn't a
yeah.
third round pick, so you don't have to worry about that.
um. So, and I'm gonna catch up with some of these comments here. Jeremy, I appreciate you providing those stats for me,
Man,
man. Like I said,
five interceptions. Wow, that's bad.
when he said it on the Sunday morning drive, when it was not against Kansas City,
It was the week
it was the week
before.
prior, yeah. And he was talking on the Sunday morning drive when he said those stats, like I said, it just resonated with me. So,
Hey, put away the
Big Country Stockdale, I think that's Matt Stockdale. Matt's on here. He says OCW Pro Wrestling is putting on a wrestling show this Saturday. Matt, I appreciate you letting me know that, man. And I appreciate you letting people know that because this is a Kansas City Chiefs themed show.
And I
And so
think he
there's going
said
to be a
it's in
lot of
Topeka.
people. Yep, it's in Topeka, Kansas. I'm going to talk to my youngest son about it when I get an opportunity. And me and my youngest son are going to look at possibly going. Topeka's about an hour from me, so definitely head out there. We're going to see ECW legend Tommy Dreamer there, man. And I appreciate you letting us know that. Starcade Media says, dreams live on. I put my name in the draft every year. 2023 is my year. I'm getting drafted. Like I told,
I heard the Raiders might be looking for a
heard that, which
quarterback.
I didn't. Speaking of the Raiders, I jumped in the comments on Willie's Raiders. A show divided. He's got a yeah. You
Yeah.
ever been on Willie's show or like watched it?
No, I've
Yeah.
watched it.
So I
But
was watching
yeah,
it and I was commenting, man. And I'm going to tell Willie this, or I'm going to tell Noah the same thing I told Willie is you can hope in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up further.
yeah.
So, Kyle, we appreciate you joining us, sir. He says, "What's up,
Yeah, what's
guys?"
up, Kyle?
So guys, I haven't done this a lot this year because I've been, it's not really a paid sponsorship, so I'm allowed to do it. It's just it's a partnership, so to speak, with Super Draft Pro. And Super Draft Pro is kind of the future of daily fantasy sports. So what Super Draft Pro does is it allows you the ability to buy or to do any to do any player you want, and there's no salary caps, so your increased chances of winning. So what I've got here is I've got a short little video for you guys. I'm going to play, and then it's about a minute long, guys. Just kind of stick to it, and when we get back, Ty and I are going to talk about the 2023 NFL draft because it's November and the draft is
Yeah, we're getting
almost 6
close.
months away, guys. So
And if you're like the Raiders, you're already thinking about
Exactly.
it because you got nothing else to think about.
heard that. Wish I didn't, but I did. All right.
Pro athletes have the dream job. They get paid to play games. The connection to sports and our fandom brings communities together. We see the business of sports as limitless. We all watch it or know someone who does. And now it's time for you to cash in on your sports IQ and get paid to play. These aren't just any kind of games. Play on Super Draft, the official fantasy partner of Caesars. Compete in exciting fantasy sports and free sports betting contests by subscribing to a plan with Super Draft Pro. Play for the love of the game and experience the most entertaining way to follow the sports you love. These mobile apps are live right now on iOS and Android. This rare opportunity is a massive game changer. You get to be an early adopter in a multi-billion-dollar global industry. So you're asking, how do I get started? We've made it simple. Sign up to be a coach, then build your team and offer a range of subscription packages to access games to play. So, now that you're aware of Super Draft Pro, can you build a street team of players and coaches who can cash in on playing games, getting others to play games, and playing games with them? Welcome to the future of sports fandom.
Yeah, guys. So that's Super Draft Pro. There is a link in the chat. If you guys click that link and sign up, you guys can definitely join. Like I said, it's the future of fantasy sports, guys. It's backed by Caesars Sportsbook Entertainment. When I went on vacation to Vegas a few months ago, it was super cool to kind of go to the area where Super Draft is kind of like highlighted and showed up. So definitely cool. Definitely check that out. Like I said, you use that link and it helps your boy out, helps your boy grow. So um, the 2023 NFL Draft, will be in Kansas City. It's going to be at Union Station, which is super cool. I
Yep,
think that's a perfect place to put it.
it
Um,
is. You couldn't find a better place,
No, no.
honestly.
Jake says Super Draft is awesome. I play it, and that's what I utilize for prime predictions. Absolutely. It's awesome that to have somebody in the chat that knows about it. And so, what's funny is you have to have like a monthly membership to play Super Draft Pro. So, however, you don't, Ty, because you're in Kansas, where
Yeah,
the gambling thing is.
it's
However, us in Missouri, I've got to have the membership, so it's either 19.99 a month or there's different tiers. But yeah, man, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. The draft in
it's
Kansas
draft.
City. So they made a joke about it when it was first announced about
Yep.
Brett Veach, and Veach made a joke, like, hey, Clark has kind of Clark Hunt has kind of told Brett, not to trade away the first round pick, because they want to make sure that the Chiefs have a first round pick uh, when it's
When it's
here in
here.
Kansas City. But I've got here what Clark Hunt said exactly. He said, "Well, Brett and I have had an ongoing joke for several years since we learned that the draft was coming to Kansas City, that we had to have our first round pick for this draft. And of course, at the end of the day, if there's a transaction that makes sense for the team, I'm certainly not going to stand in the way of that." So, he also used a mid-season rule. Said, one which involved the trading of a third round compensatory pick and then also a sixth round pick in the Kadarius Toney trade. He said that the trade that took place a little over a week ago is an example of that. A player that Brett had been very excited for a couple of years. Um,
Since the draft.
we had an opportunity to make the trade, and somebody who not only can help us this year, but help us down the road. Sorry, fighting this cough.
No, you're good,
So,
man.
kind of talk to me, Ty. What do you think, man? Are you excited for the draft to be here in Kansas City? Are you going? Um,
Oh yeah.
you making it?
I'm definitely excited for the draft to be here. I'm definitely going. I'm excited, like you said, where it's at, Union Station. I feel like that works out pretty good. Normally, they had the parade. The parade ended up ending there. So I feel like, with that yard, is Liberty Memorial
Right across the street.
with
Yep.
that big yard
Yep.
right there. They can set up all their stuff. I feel like it's gonna be really fun. I'm excited for it, man. I've already got like I'm actually thinking about getting a hotel downtown, even though I live like 20 minutes away from downtown, just so I won't have to worry about making that commute, finding parking and all that good stuff. So I'm just thinking about
I,
staying down there.
I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. I'm thinking about doing the exact same thing. So, get me one of those hotel, because I thought about that for the parade when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl.
Yep,
I got to that parade at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was
man,
freezing.
it was
And I was
cold.
watching all those people like comfy in their nice warm hotel rooms, standing on the balconies, waving at all the players as they rode by on the float. And my eyes are frozen shut by the time the players made it down. So definitely, definitely, uh, getting a hotel is definitely a possibility.
Yeah, it sounds like the
Um,
best idea with the traffic. I just don't know how that's gonna work out. So
yeah, absolutely. He mentioned in there, and we we didn't talk about it, in the game recap, but the Kadarius Toney trade.
Mm-hmm.
How are you feeling about that Kadarius Toney trade so far?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. I don't think he's just a short-term option. When you take a look at it, Juju Smith-Schuster's a free agent next year, and he might be the best wide receiver on the market, based on numbers. And then you got Mecole Hardman, obviously a free agent too. So I feel like this is a great long-term option. I feel like Kadarius Toney has a lot of upside, and one, he fits the offense like to a T. He's exactly what the Chiefs like in a receiver, very speedy guy. He can do multiple things, but I think he's a better route runner than, I just seen Starcade Media's comment. I think he's a better route runner than Cole and Sky. I'm going to be 100% honest. I just
Well,
think that footwork.
for my guy Noah Groniger at Starcade Media, he is not a McCole Hardman fan.
Yeah.
He has been dead on McCole since we drafted him. There it is, 1,000%
He
McCole
said,
blows. So, Noah will not hide his hatred for McCole Hardman. He is in full form. Anytime, and it's not just football season; it's all year long.
yep, off season.
Noah was pushing for the Chiefs to get rid of him, and Noah was not convinced that the Chiefs would be okay with Nicole Hardman at the helm. So Kyle says I
Yeah.
have to say that Juju has fit better than I thought. I agree, Kyle.
Yep.
I was not sold on the Juju signing. I actually thought that MVS would pan out better than Juju has.
That he would be a better fit in
Exactly.
offense with that
And
speed.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. That's not the case. Juju's
Nope.
outperforming them. So, um, you know, but back to this Kadarius Toney trade. Um, you know, I I'll tell you what I loved, and there's a clip going around on it online, and it
Yep.
was it was funny because
That was
I
it
was
was
thinking the exact same thing when I watched it. I said it to myself. I kept
Yep.
pointing at the TV screen. And I was like, that's what's going to make Kadarius Toney successful in this offense. And I don't
Yep.
know if you saw the route, but the route where he turned that
That
defender completely
Yep.
around and went, he's already puts
Completely
him
flipped.
that's already putting him above McCole Hardman in Starcade Media's book. And I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
he shows me he can go out there and catch the ball and make plays, and I'll be completely happy with it. I mean,
Yep.
you know, though obviously there were some issues with injury, and then, but yet there's some speculation that the injury could have been um, over exaggerated, if you will, that he wasn't
Yep.
happy playing in New York and didn't want to stay in New York.
It didn't get along with
Yeah,
the coaching
whatever
staff
the
and all
case may be,
that.
I don't necessarily agree with that, but I mean, if you're not happy, you're not happy. I'm a huge proponent of um, be where you are happy. So, um, but yeah,
I
man,
agree
that
with that.
Kadarius Toney trade. Obviously, we lose that third round pick. So we're not going to be able to see that
Yep. And
in the draft in Kansas
yep.
City. But we we'll see. We're gonna jump into the comments here, man. I saw a bunch of them fly in right as we
Did you
started.
see Starcade's latest comment? He said his injury was like me when I didn't get enough sleep and would call into work sick.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
good
that's about
point.
it. So, Starcade Media said it's a new sport I created in hating McCole. I enjoy it in my leisure time, and that is quite right. I was watching his show, Starcade Media's show earlier, and he had a guy on his show, Brian B. Shinen,
Yep.
um, and Brian B. was giving Noah a lot of stuff during the show. Or gave him stuff during the show about how like, hey, you just hate on McCole because you like to hate on McCole. Um,
Yep.
but
I mean, Cole has stepped up though these last couple of weeks. I mean,
That's
and
and
I'm not
that's
gonna
what
lie, I was hard on McCole all off season going into
that's
the season,
exactly
but he
what
stepped up,
that's
man.
exactly what Brian said to him was these past couple weeks, McCole has stepped up. So um, Jeremy says getting him to read the playbook, that may be an issue, like trying to have Kyler Murray watch game film. So we'll see.
We will, yeah. I mean, he does somewhat have a point there.
Um,
How's it
Lennon,
going,
appreciate
Lennon?
Lennon jumping in. Lennon does fantastic work for us over at Starcade Media. He makes sure that those articles that Ty and our other writers like Jeremy
Key
B
and
and
Jeremy.
Key and everybody get put up. So definitely excited about that. Um, and then Jeremy B says Giants fans think the Chiefs. Like I
Not
said,
lying.
yeah,
I had so
no,
many
definitely
Giants
not.
fans comment on my video like, "Thank you." I'm like, I mean, I'll take them. Thank you. I
Yeah. And then Starcade Media says just two big drops this
mean,
past
he
game.
does
I
have a
guess that's
point.
improvement.
He
So,
does have a point.
yep.
One, I mean, that one was kind of low though. I don't know. I don't know how much I put on him, but
Yeah. Yeah, just a little bit, just a little bit. Um so we've got the Jaguars
yep.
at Arrowhead. The Jags are 3-6. The Chiefs are favored by 9.5 points. Kind of talk to me about this game, Ty.
Yeah. So you know what? Honestly, I've seen a lot of people really pick the Chiefs to like win this game by like multiple touchdowns, and I'm not saying they're not going to. And this is a game they should probably win by multiple touchdowns. But when I look at Jacksonville, it's not, their record isn't their whole story. They've been in a lot of close games this year. They've been in pretty much every game they played in. Obviously, they haven't played the Chiefs yet, but when I look, they got some talent over there. I mean, their defense isn't terrible. It's not great. It's not Tennessee's defense, but I think they can find a way to give the Chiefs some trouble. And then you got the running back, Travis Etienne, who's taken over since they traded James Robinson, has absolutely been beasting. And we kind of seen that coming out of college that he would do that eventually once he got healthy.
Yeah. Um Starcade Media says
They
Chiefs
don't,
don't play at
yeah.
home, only 24.5 points per game at home. So this will be close. And Lennon says, at the way the NFL is going, it may be 3 to 7 point difference.
That's honestly what I'm thinking.
Yep.
7 points. Yep.
Etnine has been
Etienne,
really good the past couple weeks.
he's been feasting.
Yep. Got to run and pop in a few more shows. Appreciate you joining, Jeremy.
See you,
Definitely,
Jeremy.
definitely appreciate that, sir. Um, so I what I like is how the defense was able to pressure a young quarterback in Malik Willis, make the adjustments to stop the run. I think that this will be a lot like the Tennessee game, where there's gonna be some people, or they're gonna have they might come out to a quick start,
Yep.
and their defense will give Pat and the offense a little bit of ruckus. But I think at the end of the game, Pat and the offense will come over it. I think that it will be slow starting out, but I think once Pat and the offense gets into a rhythm, I think the floodgates are going to open. I made a score prediction of like 42-24 or 42-21, something like that. And I'm still comfortable with that. Maybe it might be a little bit of an overshot. I might take it down to 35,
Reel it
reel it
back.
back to 35 a
Yeah.
little bit. But like I said, I believe that it's not going to be like the Titans game where it's going to be close all game. I think it'll keep close at first, and then right before the second half or right after the second half,
They get
the
it
the, the
going.
Chiefs are going to get it going, and it's gonna explode from there.
Yep.
Um,
We need that explosion at home. We haven't had that. It feels like in a
yeah,
while.
and,
I mean, at
and
least
this
all
is
year.
this is the right team to do it at. Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. I don't think that Trevor
Most
Lawrence is
definitely.
is terrible. I think he's better than Malik Willis,
Well, yeah.
obviously, but he's still in a position where he's making a lot of young
Mistakes.
mistakes, and I think that front seven are going to pursue that, and I think that the Chiefs secondary will come up with a couple of picks. So,
Yep.
like I said, our defense is nothing to write home about. I
Nope.
don't think that they're not explosive. They're not anywhere near what they could be, especially with the money and what the talent that they've put on the front seven. But I think that this game they're gonna look good against that
The-
offense. So, um,
and then
oh no, I was gonna say Starcade Media says Christian Kirk and Marvin
yeah, I was
Jones are
gonna
gonna test
say
our young secondary. Absolutely.
I
I
agree with
agree.
that.
I think they will, and I think it'll be a test for for the like I said for the first half. But after the first half, I just feel like the floodgates are going to open, and
Yep.
Mahomes is going to put up 3 or 4 touchdowns in the second half. So, you got any score predictions for that, sir?
Yeah, so I kind of like Starcade Media's 31-23. I'm gonna take it up a notch. I'm gonna say 34-28.
34-28. Okay.
Yep.
Like I said,
Chiefs. I feel like we'll be able to put up some points on this.
I'll dial my prediction back from earlier. I won't say 42-24. I'll say 35. I'll say 35-23. Um, I think that like I said, I just think that the Jaguars will keep it close, and then after that they will run through. So um, that kind of does it for the Jaguars game. Did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
I just wanted to go back a little bit in time here. McDuffie and the young corners. Trent McDuffie has 40, I believe it's 45 or 46 coverage snaps this year. He's been targeted twice and he's allowed 0 catches.
Yeah, absolutely.
And obviously that I think that's in only a 2-game span because he played the Cardinals game and then this was his first game back, if I'm
Yep.
correct.
This was definitely his
Yeah,
first game
so
back, and that's huge.
McDuffie's been
Yep.
up to expectations for sure when he has played.
And let's not let's also remember that I don't think I don't think that injury was should be counted against McDuffie. They were playing on
No, it was that
that
turf.
horrible turf that
Yep.
there was like 4 or 5 players that got injured in that game. So um,
And I believe Matt Prater ended
Matt,
up getting hurt because of
yeah,
that too. Yep.
and also
Butker
uh,
for the Chiefs.
Butker. What is up with Butker?
Yeah, so I'm gonna use a basketball analogy here, and it's gonna sound kind of weird. It's kind of like when a good 3-point shooter struggles at shooting free throws. He can nail everything over 40 yards and over, but he struggles a little bit once it gets under 35 yards.
Yeah.
So I'm not so sure what that's about.
Well,
I think it's just that big leg.
not just that, but he also has a problem kicking from the left hash.
Yep,
And maybe I'm
that's
wrong on
true.
that. Maybe it might be the right hash, but I've noticed that when because it's funny because the announcers will even bring it up when he lines up on that hash that's not his ideal one, his go to
Yeah,
one,
his go-to one.
and every single time I'm like it's Butker, he's money, and then he misses it, and I'm like really. So, like I said, I'm almost positive it's the left hash, but in one of them, it's just he has a hard time with it. Um,
Yep.
are you cutting or are you looking at other alternatives yet for Harris for Butker, or are you still?
Um, I'm a ride with them. Maybe you sign somebody to the practice squad in case Butker does like really struggle in one of these games, and you're like, okay, yeah, we gotta move on from him. But for now, I'm gonna roll with Butker, man. I mean, he's even in that Bills game, he had that 62 yarder, which is the franchise record. But then he missed like an extra point or something like that in that game. So I think we don't know heel he is from that injury or if they rushed him back a little bit because we were struggling with the kickers. Windola Wright did look good there for a couple games, but consistently, can he do it? We've seen Bucker do it over the years, so we should still have trust in Bucker and faith that he can get it done.
Absolutely. Let's talk about week 11. The
Mm-hmm.
game was the game between the Chargers and the Chiefs has
Yeah.
been flexed to Sunday Night Football. Um, it replaced Cincinnati and Pittsburgh. It looked like. Obviously, Cincinnati and Pittsburgh is probably not looking the way it was looking in the offseason.
Yep.
I don't. I was never excited for Pittsburgh
Me
in the
neither.
offseason. I was excited for Cincinnati. I am a little disappointed that they haven't shown what they showed last year.
Yep. Especially, I mean, they've showed it in games against teams like they played Sunday, against teams like the Panthers and the Falcons, which don't get me wrong, the Falcons are actually a pretty good team this year, but they're not top tier team by any means. So I am a bit worried about the Bengals though, heading forward.
Yeah, well, and I'll tell you why I'm not excited about the Bengals is they still have nobody to protect
Yep.
Joe Burrow. So
It hasn't changed. And if the Chiefs, I mean, I
I'm
hate
over
to
here dying,
harp on
dude.
this, but if the Chiefs get, I mean, even just like 3 sacks in the AFC Championship game, they win. The Tennessee Titans had 8 sacks. The Raiders had like 6 sacks, and then the Chiefs had 0. So I mean that was, I mean, man,
Yeah,
that was frustrating.
extremely. Although I think the week 9 or whatever week we played them, didn't the Chiefs have like over
I
7
think
or 8
4 or
sacks?
5.
Yeah,
I think it was like 4 or 5, but they were getting sacks in that regular season game.
yeah. Um, so obviously the Chargers and the Chiefs seemed like a safe game for the NFL to make
Yep.
money on that. So usually
The
we do
ratings.
a intermission on the show. We're not going to do an intermission this week, um, especially if I might not make it out of the show alive. Anyways,
Yeah.
this fellow on Twitch says he's dying. Just thought you'd like to know. Come check out the stream and comment. Make sure you like and follow CR Media 1988. They know. Steven Chambers, what's up, sir?
What's up, man?
But the only NFL story I had is the Colts. The
Yep.
Colts parted ways with Frank Wright.
Which they should have done.
Yeah. So we talk a lot on this show about bad franchises,
Yep.
franchises that no matter what, like just no matter what, like just can't get it together. And slowly but surely, Indianapolis, because of their ownership, has started to show that. Um, so
Yep.
I don't know if I put the blame.
I question Ursay a lot.
Yeah, I don't know if I put all the blame on Frank Wright. Um, Frank Wright is a great coach. You can't play musical chairs at quarterback
He's
and win.
they're definitely tanking with Jeff Saturday. When I seen that, I'm like, they're getting Bryce, they're getting CJ. They want one of those guys because why are you hiring Jeff Saturday straight off ESPN to be your head coach or interim head coach? But
Yeah,
still, I don't get that.
I
3-7 in his last year in high
well,
school.
I'll tell you what. Um, Frank Wright might go to Jacksonville because he was with
Yep, that's what I was
he was with
wondering too.
Jacksonville under Doug Peterson. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Frank White show up in Jacksonville and be
And
yeah,
transform Trevor
an offensive
Lawrence. He really
coordinator and,
could.
and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I can definitely see that. That's exactly yesterday when I seen the move happen.
Yep.
There's an open seat
And
on ESPN. He's
there's an
right.
open seat, and yep. Kyle says Jim Irsay is a small town Jerry Jones. He gets involved too much.
I 100%
He gets
agree.
involved too much, and he
Let
has
the
no
football
business.
guys
He
make.
has no business getting involved.
Yep.
It would be different if he was a football minded, GM slash
Yep.
owner, but he's not. You
Nope.
know, he's if I want to know, like Key made the comment about brandy. If I want to know what brandy to start drinking, I'm gonna hit Jim Irsay up. I'm not gonna
Yep.
hit Jim Irsay up about football stuff. Um, and yeah, this decision
No
makes no
sense.
sense to me. Not to piggyback off of Starcade Media more, but they showed all the staff that are in Indianapolis right now that you could have hired as an interim head
Gus
coach,
Bradley
and
has
yet
a lot of experience.
Bradley, yep, and yet you pull Jim Irsay pulls Jeff Saturday off of ESPN that has no coaching experience to say, "Hey, come be the head coach."
Yep.
I don't know. It did not sit well with me, and I think that this team, not that this team had any identity to begin with, but
Yeah.
this I think that this team has struggled really hard to find their identity since Andrew Luck left.
Yep. And it should have been clear cut. They got Jonathan Taylor. I mean, it should have been very clear cut. But the problem is they can't find a quarterback. They can't stick with one quarterback, man.
And
And
that's what I'm saying.
Wentz,
Like,
yeah,
how do you expect? Just like the chat mentioned earlier, Starcade Media mentioned earlier.
because you're having to teach a new offense
Yeah,
every year.
how do you expect a head coach to stay when you're playing musical chair at quarterback? Like they can't do it. If Saturday finishes a 500 record coaching, Colts may keep Saturday. Oh, no doubt,
Yep.
no doubt. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure I agree with that. Uh,
I don't think it's going to
Starcade
work.
Media says sweet Mega Power shirt. So yeah, I'm a huge wrestling fan, and obviously red and yellow, the old Mega Powers, Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. But this is Mahomes and Travis Kelsey. So you can definitely go pick that shirt up from Starcade Media. Definitely saw that shirt and I was like, man, I gotta have it. So
Got to get it.
gotta get it. Uh, they tried to go with band aid fixes at quarterback. They haven't been right since Luck
Yep.
retired. Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you're the Colts, what do you do to turn things around?
What do I do? I forced Jim Irsay to sell the team. I fire Chris Ballard immediately. Chris Ballard is terrible, man. Will you talk about somebody's drafting record? Okay, and don't forget that this guy of the finalists for when we went with Brett Veach, Chris Ballard was a part of that. And man, I'm so glad we went with Brett Veach because if you look at Chris, it's terrible. So my next move probably would be to fire Chris Ballard, man. I don't like his drafting at all. It's Jonathan Taylor is probably the biggest hit in the draft, and that's about it. Like that's
Yeah. And when there's no brain decisions, like when there's no brainer decisions right there, you take them and those guys shouldn't get patted on the back.
exactly.
Um, you know, so um, Starcade Media says I'm not a Veach guy. Don't hate him, but don't love him either. Just meh.
I really liked
And
what he's done versus Chris Ballard, though. I mean, that's a low bar to clear, but I really like what Veach has done to extend the
I
championship
also
window.
like and I also like what he's done more than
John
uh,
Dorsey.
John Dorsey. Yeah.
Yeah. Dorsey would
So
just spend, man. That's all he did.
yeah.
Give out
Um,
bad contracts.
like I said, I like Veach a whole lot more than I do Dorsey and Pioli. So I mean,
Yeah. Pioli was.
so
I'll never forget when Lynn Dawson exposed Pioli in that. I don't know if you ever seen that, but you have to go back. He pretty
oh
much
yeah,
exposed Pioli.
really.
I think Pioli ended up getting fired at the end of the year.
Oh well, I mean, I helped donate to the GoFundMe to fly the airplane above Arrowhead.
You
That said
really?
that said fire
I
fire
remember that,
Pioli,
man.
bench Castle fire Pioli, and I forgot what else. I think that was just it. Bench Castle fire Pioli. Um, yeah, and I wore black to those games, and like I said, Venmo or not Venmo, but PayPal some money to help pay for that.
Put on the paper bag and everything.
Yeah. Uh Pioli was great at team friendly contracts, but couldn't draft to save his
Yep.
life. Dorsey's
He
cap
could
was
get
out of
good.
control, but Dorsey was way better picking players.
I mean, kind of,
Yeah,
sort of. If you look at Beach's drafts, I mean, the first one was not great. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all.
yeah.
But I think long term, he's gotten better over the years at
I
drafting.
like his. I like his. I like his free agency.
Yep.
Like
The low
pursuit better than I did
risk,
the
high
other two.
reward moves that he
I
makes.
will tell you, Pioli's 2011 draft was pretty stellar.
Yeah.
Pioli's 2011 draft was pretty fucking good. I'll give him that. Sarkisian says Kareem, Kelsey, Chris Jones, and Mahomes goes both ways for Veach and Dorsey. Agreed.
I agree. I agree with all those names except for Mahomes because Brett Veach was, I believe he was a scout at the time, and he was pounding the table for Mahomes.
Yep.
So I mean, he influenced John Dorsey. John Dorsey did still made the decision, but he
Of
was a
course.
big influence in that. But Kelsey, he's got a point though,
Yep.
no doubt.
Definitely. Well, I'll tell you what. That kind of puts us almost right at the 1 hour mark. Ty, I appreciate you joining us
Yeah,
this week.
anytime, man.
Why don't you tell everybody where they can find you on social media, sir?
Yeah, so you can find me over at the Sports Talk with T on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. And also, I normally do a post game show with my good friends over at Arrowhead Chief Podcast, Chris and Clarence. We normally do it after the game, but game's coming up. We got some primetime games, so it'll be most likely the day after. But yeah, that's where you can find me at. And Sports Empire Network too.
Absolutely. So, plug in the partnerships, guys. Sports Empire Network. That's where you can find the Arrowhead Asylum every week, and that's where you can find all kinds of different sports, different shows. I mean, we're covering everything from, the NFL all the way to NASCAR. It's fantastic. It's great stuff. It's full of content. You're never going to miss any of it. CR Media, as you guys know, I do the post Dynamite show. After AEW Dynamite on Wednesday nights, we go live, talk about the show, what we liked, what we didn't like. And then we also, there's a portion of the show where we invite guests on. So it's lots of fun. It can get wild and crazy sometimes, but that's why I love it. And then, of course, on Thursday nights, guys, we are super passionate about independent wrestling. Those guys that are going out there and wrestling for $25, $50 a night. If even that, sometimes are just making enough money for gas, doing what they love and doing what they're passionate about. We call it the I-70 hot tag. We sponsored some wrestling events and sponsored some matches. Got a lot of great stuff coming up in the future, so definitely check that out. And then my friend James has the for the love of my car. If you are in the Kansas and Missouri area, and you need an opportunity to get your car clean and get some stuff done to your car, hit my friend James up. My friend James is going to get you taken care of. He did my car, and it was fantastic. Couldn't ask for a better job. James is competitive. It's affordable. All that good stuff. So, like I said, definitely check him out. And then also James and I do the halftime show for Starcade Media, the halftime huddle. So make sure you check that out as well. That is all I got, Ty. You got anything else, sir?
Nope, that's all I got
All
too.
right.
I mean, thanks for having me though. And like I said, if I get off a little bit early of work, I can come on more
Yeah, man.
often. I
Definitely.
mean, Whenever you
Definitely hit
need me,
us
man,
up.
just let me
James and I
know.
have talked several times about bringing a third person on. James was also very busy, so there's situations where
Yeah,
sometimes he
can't
can't
make
make
it.
it, or sometimes he's sick, or sometimes I can't make it and I'm sick. So, but we want to stay consistent. We want the show to go every week. So yeah, man, would love to have you on more. And if it comes to a situation where we can add you on permanently, would love the
Yeah,
opportunity to do so.
yeah,
So
we'll definitely have to talk about that for sure.
absolutely, sir. Well, as usual, guys, my name is Chase. I go by CR Media. This is my good friend Ty. Appreciate him filling in tonight. And as always,